Hey guys, Bella here, and in this video I'm going to be doing my 2024 Wrapped Ozempic Weight Loss Edition. For the last 10 plus years of my life, I have thought about how I can lose weight and keep the weight off. And I have never been successful in that until I started taking Ozempic. And so in this video, I want to talk about all the things that have changed for me, the year progress that I've made. I've lost a significant amount of weight this year. I've had some big changes in my body, in the way that I feel about myself, and this is the first year of my life, I think, that I haven't spent the year upset about my weight. I have so many sad journal entries from the previous years of me just writing, why am I trying so hard and nothing's working? And so I guess what I'm saying is that I am so thankful to not be in that mind space anymore, because it was exhausting and it was very defeating. And so in this year, I've had so much time to think about what I want, like what I am, like who I am outside of the context of my weight. And it's been very freeing, and it's also been very emotionally difficult because I've had time and space to think about other things in my life, and that has brought about some, I guess, I don't know if you want to call them demons or just problems that were there, but I couldn't really think about at the time. But we're going to talk about that in the video. So a year has 52 weeks. I did not take 52 shots. I took about 40 shots. I usually space my shots out about 7 to 10 days. I will change that if I feel like I'm getting hungrier, but that's just what works for me. This is not medical advice. This is just what I do. This is just for me. In terms of the weight I lost, I'm going to kind of reveal that in just a little bit, but I want to say that it was very consistent. I lost 1.65 pounds every month. So I stayed really like a slow loser, but I stayed consistent. And so I think I'm fine with that. I've never been able to lose a lot of weight at once anyways. And so I feel like with that amount of progress, my body was able to adapt. I don't really have any loose skin. The only thing that I'm kind of self-conscious about now is like I have a new face, and I haven't quite gotten used to looking at it, especially like from the side. And there's a little bit of like, I don't know if you want to call it loose skin or what, but like there's just a little bit underneath my neck that I didn't have before because it was filled with fat. But you know, I think that with the elasticity, as long as I continue to just kind of moisturize and take care of that, I think it will work itself out in the long run. So my jean size is now around a size 10 or a size 8. It used to be like a size 12 or a size 14 depending on the brand. So I've definitely lost a lot of weight in the waist area. I'm still having trouble finding pants to fit me. And I say this every year, but I swear to you guys, 2025 is going to be the year that I get my pants professionally hemmed to fit me, like my body, because I've never had any pants that weren't like dragging the ground, or they were like almost like flood pants where they were too short, because I got like a short length version of them, but they didn't fit my body. So I am going to get some pants tailored to this body in 2025. Okay, I got one new tattoo, which I think is honestly one of the coolest things I did this year. I guess I'll just show it since I've already talked about it. So I got a tattoo of my dogs. This tattoo means so much to me. This is the first time that I've felt like my tattoo was just like truly embodied something that I wanted to have on me for the rest of my life, which was my puppies. And so I really love this tattoo. I got it done by a girl named Courtney K. O'Shea in Nashville at Black 13. I got 2 new hobbies, things that I worked on consistently throughout the year, were gardening. I spent about 45 days at least gardening, like all into it, buying seeds, going to Lowe's, buying mulch, buying potting soil. I don't even want to know how much money I spent on gardening this year, but I promise it was worth every penny. It was one of the most fulfilling things that I did in 2024. My other hobby was doing my nails. I actually didn't do these, but I started to really like doing like my own gel nails, and then I figured out like just lacquer polishes and just like really getting into something that was like treating myself, but was like a more meticulous thing that I had not previously made time for, and also just learning something and not being good at it I don't do well with that. And so I've really tried to push myself this year to be like, you cannot learn new things if you're not willing to suck at them in the beginning. And so I think that's something that I want to work on more in 2024. 711 days of calories logged in a row. Have not missed. That is debatable if you think that's a good thing or not, but for me, it's what works for me. It gives me a sense of control. Maybe that is a type A, trauma personality, but I like the fact that I know what I eat. I know when I'm doing well, and it's just a measurable number for me. And it also helps me track my protein and things like sugar intake, which is something that I really need to cut back on. So I did 5 Fridays interviews. So I spoke with 5 different ladies who are on a GLP-1 drug, and they all shared their stories on my YouTube channel, and that is something that I'm so proud of, because that's basically 5 hours of content for people to listen to and kind of hear those stories, because I know that just telling my own story is valuable to people, but having someone who understands you is the most critical thing when you're trying to do something that's hard, like weight loss, because it just feels like you're in it alone sometimes. And so go and watch those interviews if you are kind of looking for a long form interview. And if you're new to GLP-1s, I'm on Semaglutide, which is the brand name Ozempic, and I use a company called Fridays to get my medication. So the way that it works is that I see a doctor on the Fridays website. I tell them that I need a refill, basically. I tell them my current weight, and then they send that off to a compounding pharmacy, and then that compounding pharmacy will ship the medicine straight to my door. So I've been doing this method of doing this online, telehealth format, for most of my journey. I do think that this is something that if you want to start, now is a really good time to start. They're actually giving me a code to give you guys $100 off of your first month if you use code BELLA100. They have not gave that much before, and it ends at the end of 2024. So just make sure that if you are going to take advantage of it, that you take advantage of it soon. Ozempic, it's $249 a month. If you use the code, obviously your first month will be $149. And so I think that that's just a really good way to kind of get into it without having to spend a ton of money. Out-of-pocket costs are just unaffordable for most people with this medication. I got 6 new food favorites. So blueberries, crustless chicken pot pie, frozen dinner. I have ate this same frozen dinner probably 40 times this year, if not more than that. I know Daniel adds it to every grocery order that we do. I think it's 300 calories and 20 grams of protein. A lot of cheese sticks. I love cheese sticks of all kinds. Flavored almonds, so any kind of lightly flavored almonds, like the blueberry ones, any kind of chocolate cocoa almonds, dusted, not coated in sugar. Also love Kind protein bars. So I've eaten a ton of those. Sometimes I feel like I don't have a lot of will to eat. And so I like something that's small and portable. Right now, I literally have cheese sitting next to me. So I always want to have something that I can snack on just to make sure that I don't crash, because a big problem with Ozempic is that people don't learn to eat in a way that is measured, in a way that is healthy. They just think, oh, I'm finally not hungry, I'm just not gonna eat. And so that's not sustainable, and that's not what I want to do. I really want to build the habits of eating at regularly scheduled times and listening to when I'm full, listening to when I'm hungry. And so I actually got a graph of my weight and my calories. And so for my calories, I saw this little line that was over 3,000, and I was back when I was basically restricting and then binging, I would have so many 3,000 calorie days, because what would happen is I would do 1,200, and then I would binge. So I'd eat 3,000 or 3,500 calories in a day. And so it basically was just this never-ending cycle of restricting and then binge eating. I thought it was interesting that I've only had a few days where I went over 3,000 calories, and those were most likely Thanksgiving and holidays, birthdays, big events in my life, because I found it really difficult to eat an excess amount. I also think those days might involve alcohol, and one thing I've noticed is that alcohol is so not a priority for me anymore, and it used to be this huge hit of dopamine, and it's something that I really don't struggle with anymore. So I've had 2 days where I basically cosplayed as a swimsuit model. So I started a business. That's another thing. I did one new business this year. I started a business this year doing Amazon product reviews, and I've basically been getting free products from brands in exchange for making like a short video about them. And so I was telling my mom, like, hey, I'm a swimsuit model now, basically, because I put the swimsuit on and, you know, do whatever, like spin around in it, show it from all the angles. And so I just thought that was so funny, and I was like, I'm gonna start telling people that I'm a swimsuit model, because I technically am. Like, it's not even lying. And so I guess like the moral of the story is, like, 10 years ago, I was so worried about my job and my career prospects of being an entrepreneur. I was like, I just don't know how it's going to pan out. I don't know what it's going to look like. I don't know if I'm going to be able to keep making a living doing my own thing. And my worst fear was having to go work for somebody. You guys, I've never worked for anybody else in my entire life. I cannot take direction very well. And so I have just kind of chuckled this year at like the absurdity of now being like a product reviewer, having all of these brands want to work with me and people reaching out to me on my YouTube channel. And I'm not trying to gloat. I'm just like, oh my gosh, like, it's actually working. So if you've been thinking about doing YouTube, maybe this is your sign that you need to start, because all I have is this phone that I'm recording on, and I have a ring light that was like $25. And I mean, you don't need the works to start a YouTube channel. You can literally edit for free with iMovie that's on your phone. So just something to think about. I'm also 13 months post-op from my boob job. That's kind of awkward, but I am really seeing a lot of changes with that. Like, in terms of my scarring and stuff, it's totally faded, and I feel so much better about myself. And I feel like that is something that, you know, if I had loose skin issues or anything like that, I would be booking a consult with a surgeon, because I know that it's not necessarily something you have to do, but any plastic surgery that you can have that will make you feel less self-conscious and just better in your body, I think is, you know, I don't have a problem with it, especially for loose skin, because that stuff can kind of get in the way of your clothes and your comfort. And so I've had plastic surgery, and I really am happy with my results. If there's enough interest, I'll make a follow-up video talking about in detail like 1 year post-op and what it was like to heal from that surgery. The thing that you guys probably want to know is how much weight I lost in 2024. So to wrap it up, I've lost 20 pounds. Yes, 20 pounds. And one thing that I'm a little self-conscious about is that I've seen a lot of people say they've lost 50 pounds or they've lost 80 pounds. But the thing is, I'm only 5 foot tall, and at the beginning of the year, I was 165 pounds. So for me to lose 65 pounds would mean I'm 100 pounds, which is just like, no, not for me. And so I've lost the percentage of my weight that I feel like was healthy and was good for me. I have felt so much better, like more confident. I've just been wearing the most wacky things. I mean, I don't think this is necessarily high fashion, but like, I've just been feeling more and more confident, like in my ability to wear what I want to wear, in my speaking abilities, and also just like advocating for myself, like pushing for what I want. Like, you know, I would be more passive and like sometimes like just not say anything. And now I'm noticing like I'm saying what I want to say. And so that's been something that I feel like has come with that confidence. And it is kind of a shame that our society treats fat people different than what they treat skinny people, because I've noticed a large difference in how like men treat me, even how women treat me. You know, people are genuinely nicer to me, and so that's been kind of odd to adjust to. I feel like that's something that I experienced the last time I lost a lot of weight, which was about probably like almost 10 years ago. I lost 50 pounds. And so now at this point in my weight loss, overall, from like the beginning of my Ozempic journey to now, I've actually lost 40 pounds. So I've lost about 20 pounds a year, give or take. And so that feels really sustainable to me. Those numbers make sense to me. I've spent 0 time crying about my weight this year. The only thing that I really still struggle with is like my back pain, but I mean, honestly, it's been going on for like 3 years, so it's really hard for me to like think of life without the pain now. I have like really chronic back pain that I'm literally feeling right now. Probably need to fix my posture a little bit, but that's really the biggest thing I've struggled with. I've also had zero guilt over using Ozempic to lose weight. This has been the perfect thing for me. I don't know if it's gonna work for you, but like for me, it's just been everything that I ever needed but didn't have. So as a young person, I knew I was fat. I knew I needed to eat less and move more, but every time I tried that, it just did not work. It wound up with me just yo-yo dieting and nothing ever really felt successful. And so to have this like year where my life was actually about me and not about my weight is just such a cool feeling. I probably drank 200 Premier protein shakes. That is my go-to thing for when I don't really feel like eating. And I also use it as coffee creamer. And if I make like a chai tea, I'll usually put some in that. So that's just something that I've utilized as a tool to help me throughout the year to get more protein and to make sure that I'm eating something throughout the day. I think the biggest change for me from my first year on Ozempic to this year on Ozempic is that it was more of a thing that I had to think about. Back then, like I thought about my shot, I thought about how much weight have I lost since the last shot, how much weight have I lost this month. But truly, this year, I have like not thought about it hardly at all. I take the shot, like sometimes I forget to take the shot because I just don't care. I haven't weighed myself as much, like I've just been rolling with it. I've really tried to trust the process, and I've trusted in my own like knowledge and abilities to do what I need to do to take care of myself, to go to the gym, to walk, to be active, you know, even when I just feel like sluggish, like honestly today with it getting dark so early, it's really put a damper on my activity level and my mood. And so I've been like, I've got to figure out how I can keep being active this winter, whether or not it's just obsessively cleaning my house or, you know, going to the mall and walking or something like that, like anything that I can do. So if you guys have ideas of how to be more active in the winter, please let me know. I can do a YouTube workout. I also have a membership to the YMCA where I can swim, do the sauna, treadmill, weights, whatever. I guess I'm kind of geared more towards workouts that don't feel like workouts. And so if you have ideas for that, please let me know. The biggest thing that I got out of this year was that I am so capable, and I turned 30 and I felt a little old for like a couple days, and then I was like, that's not old. This is literally like a new beginning for me. And so I'm just so excited to see what 2025 brings. I really want to do like a body recomposition where I lift weights more and I try to stretch more, put the effort into creating like a physique that I feel like confident about, because now I feel like the weight is falling off, like the weight of the weight is gone, like all that pressure. And so now it's time for me to kind of carve out a new path forward. So thank you guys so much for watching my Wrapped for 2024. I absolutely would recommend Fridays if you are looking to start a weight loss GLP-1 medicine. They can get you compounded semaglutide or tirzepatide. So all the links will be in the description below. I hope that you guys have a wonderful rest of the year. I am going to Ireland next week, so I will catch you guys in the next video. Take care until then.